That's right. Worth the wait and worth every penny.
Kind of feels like it's been a long hiatus, but it hasn't
Right?
been that long.
Been a while. Yeah. Welcome back to the Eternal Baseball Podcast. That's what happens when spring break hits and the fellas travel a little bit. So good to be back in the swing of things and back in the saddle. If it's your first time, welcome. If you're back, boy, you love baseball. We're your hosts. I'm Mark. That's Brent. We're the founders of Eternal Baseball, and every week we bring you the best 60 minutes of your week, the Eternal Baseball Podcast, where we rip through the week that was in Eternal Baseball and give you the game of the week. And we got hopefully a good one tonight. These are two really underachieving teams, but there's still time to turn your season around. And we want to try to get every team represented on the podcast every season. So two teams that haven't been here before, the Houston Astros at the New York Mets. And I think it's cool that Rhoda's wearing the black hat this week because this is kind of the villains of MLB against the team the owners all hate. Because the Mets won't stop spending, and most of them.
Yeah, Cohen has opened up the pocketbook.
I can't be mad at there's no cap, so I'm surprised there aren't a couple more like this owners who are just like, no cap, cool, I'll have one of the best teams.
I mean, at some point, it's going to be the soccer situation, right? Where some Saudi wealth fund is just going to be like, okay, oh yeah, I forgot about this league. Let's
right, boom, and they come, yeah. But with so many teams not actively trying to compete, I kind of like that there's one guy at the top who's just like, cool. Yeah.
I got more money than I know what to do with.
Yeah, it's a broken game. Advantage me. So, and on some level, it is, sports are better when the powerhouses are powerhouses, right? Like, I never rooted in college football for Texas or Florida State in my life, right? But they've been mediocre. Nebraska too. They've been mediocre for so long that it feels off when Nebraska shows up at 6-5, right? You're like, well,
yeah,
what happened? So having the Mets at least a fiscal powerhouse, and we believe probably pretty damn good on the field too. It's good for Major League Baseball. And,
Rob's making you you're making him do a Mets fan here.
Is he selling me out? Hold on. Oh, there we go. I was in the wrong spot. Yeah. I get it. Now, to be honest, though, the 86 Mets that won the title in that whole era, they were fun to watch. Even if we didn't really know they should have been villains at the time, right? Because we didn't know the troubles that Dwight and Doc had. We didn't know Dykstra was a maniac or Backman was a threat. How's that for being diplomatic? So,
those coaching vids.
yeah. So we didn't know
managerial stuff. That's so good.
But it is fun for me tonight because we're going to be the Mets. We're the home team, and it's my favorite starting pitcher ever, David Cone. So it's Cone versus Dallas Keuchel getting his first start of the year for Houston because Houston has been atrocious. They were pretty good last year, and we actually ran this in our newsletter that came out on Friday. Again, if you're not signed up, head to eternalbaseball.com and check out our newsletter. It's totally free, new edition every Friday. And we looked at teams' winning percentage now in Season 3 versus what it was at the end of Season 2 to see which teams are really outperforming last year and which teams are struggling this year. And the Houston Astros are just god-awful compared to last year. And it's part of why we like the software we chose is the stats get a little randomized each year. And it just feels like Houston rolled snake eyes on like 5 or 6 of their best players. And there's almost no coming back from that. So, and that's why Keuchel's getting his first start. We do keep an eye on all the teams as best we can, but there's a lot. So if you have a favorite team and you can't figure out why Mike Scott is still in the rotation with a 5.5 ERA, tell us. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on our message boards at eternalbaseball.com. And that's the kind of stuff we love because it helps a team be more competitive. So that's it. Mike Scott out in Dallas Keuchel getting his first start of the year. He may not do well, but it won't be worse than what Mike Scott was putting up so far. So
perfect.
we'll
Couple other comments from Tino and Rob.
yeah. Tino's our Tiger fan number one. Yeah, it wouldn't be bad. Rusty Staub's actually a expo, Le Grand Orange, we called him. And Rob, I knew he'd get behind this. Yeah. And it is kind of odd that Cone doesn't make the Yankee rotation, but it's that 3 consecutive years thing. And he's actually more Met than Yankee, even though he's won his titles in New York and Toronto too, I think. But anyway, we'll take a look here at the week that was. So let me.
Oh, important point.
Oh, hang on, I missed something. Oh yeah. Again, from the guys that know. So if you like what we're doing, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. That all helps. Thanks for the tip to our friends at What's on Joe Mind. Moving to Tuesdays, by the way, not us, them.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, Tuesday nights at 9 Eastern. Check out What's on Joe Mind. If you can't get enough of the web, it is the World Wide Web.
It's perfectly spaced now, right?
So yeah, exactly, right? And I get my Friday night. Well, I told him I need my Friday nights back because I'm not boozing nearly enough. So, all right. So let's see if I can do this right. We'll go down and present, share the screen, share the audio.
Rhode Island nightclub owners were demanding the.
I actually know a guy who owns a Cubs themed bar in Rhode Island. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, crowded. I bet. Cubs fans are everywhere, right?
I should get there more often. All right, so here we go. Sharing the screen. So this is the week that was, and we always apologize for the eye chart. But if you're new, this is the records for the teams, and then what we're looking at here is week 15, and that's the week that just wrapped up. And so the teams in yellow are the ones who did really well. Teams in pink, not so much. And it's the Braves and Red Sox who are really coming on. If you extrapolate back and get last week too, both 9-3 in their last 12. The Red Sox are facing the Yankees this weekend in Eternal Baseball, and they got it was a really good matchup on Friday. It was Jack Kespro and Pedro Martinez, and Lou Gehrig hit like a 590-foot home run in the first inning, and that was it. 1-0 as the final. So it was cool. I'm a Yankee fan. I watch most of the Yankee games. And then the next one, the Yanks blew like a 7-3 lead and lost 11-8. So, and it was Aroldis Chapman's fault mainly. So you could hear the Yankee fans going, "Send him down. We need Rigetti." Yeah, you might get him. We'll see. But anyway, it's a good time for Boston to be playing well. And we pointed out in our newsletter on Friday that their twin aces are actually their 4th and 5th starters. So Ray Collins and Carl Mays. And I knew nothing about them before I looked them up. And I think Mays was a submarine pitcher in like in the aughts, right? Like 1908 or something. And nobody threw like that. So he just confused people like to no end, I guess. But the point we made was, look, they have maybe the most feared pitching chimera in the whole game with Pedro, Roger Clemens, and Cy freaking Young all in their prime. So if those 3 guys, Pedro's been pretty good, Roger and Cy not as much. If Roger and Cy snap out of it, you could absolutely see Boston go on a tear 5 deep in their rotation. So keep an eye on the Red Sox. They're hot right now. The Angels are my favorite right now because they went 5-1 last week and 0-6 this week. So it's not Mike Trout guy. You can't win with him, apparently. So that's one of my favorite narratives in sports, right? Is that Mike Trout isn't that good. Otherwise, they'd be in the playoffs more, right? Like, it just, yeah, can't win with that guy. And with it, once you saddle him with Ohtani too, like that team's just cursed. They'll never win anything. Dodgers had a good week at 5-1. The Brewers at 5-1 are showing some signs of life. The Marlins were awful, and the Angels were awful. Everybody else kind of middle of the pack this week. And where are we at? We're 89 games in the season. So about a week past the actual midpoint because we ran our All-Star break a little bit early this year. So that's what we're looking at right now. And then here we are with the standings and the league leaders. San Francisco still playing well, but the Dodgers are creeping back into it, 6 games back. St. Louis has played better, and Chicago's slowed down a little bit. So it's only a 4-game lead for the Cubbies in the North. Yeah, we have demanding fans. So we'll get to it. Atlanta red hot, and they're running away with the South. 16 games ahead of Miami. Oof. Montreal has made a little bit of room up on Philadelphia, 3 games up. Oakland's very good this year, and my boy Ricky Henderson not so good, which is weird that they're winning without him, but I'll get over it. Let's see. And this, what has been the best division, Cleveland is a game up on the White Sox, who are 3 games up on Detroit. So that North is going to be a dogfight. And like we've said all season, 2 wild cards in each league, which is new to Eternal Baseball, but should really help, because it would be a shame if only one team got out of the North. But it's actually possible, because once you get past Birmingham sleepwalking to the South title over the Royals, who are blowing a golden opportunity to take
generational opportunity.
Yeah, right. Might be the only time Birmingham's bad. And again, if you're new, Birmingham is the team comprised solely of legends from Negro League Baseball. So they're pulling from like 50 years of teams talent, and they're great, and they should be. And it's one of our favorite things that Eternal Baseball lets the heroes of the Negro Leagues play against the very best talent every night. And they've been incredible the first 2 seasons. This season, they're mortal, and Kansas City hasn't been able to actually mount a challenge. So I am rooting for the Royals to at least make that interesting. But then out east, the Yankees are really good, better than they were last year when they won the 2nd title. But Baltimore is quite good too, and Boston is good and getting better. So you might actually see those wild cards come out of the East only, unless the North picks up their game a bit. So that's where we are. Let's get to tonight's action. It's Astros at Mets. And in Eternal Baseball, one of the only league swap we basically did was sending the Astros back to the National League and the Brewers back to the American League, just because that really, really we needed that geographically to get a team in the South that's actually Southern and a team in the North that's actually Northern. So here we are on the 27th, looking for Houston at the Mets. And we'll get these lineups set up for you. So we start with, and this is a change we recently made that was fan requested, and we liked it. We're actually setting the lineups for both teams, but we're only going to control one. Now we're not going to set Houston up to fail, but it might happen anyway. It might happen anyway. They're having a rough year, so we're activating Dallas Keuchel. And as I said, it wasn't Mike Scott, actually. It was Lance McCullers having a rough year. And Brad Lidge having a tough year. And I know any Astro fan watching just signed off because I said Brad Lidge with his 11 ERA. But he's only pitched 4 innings. So he has gotten bombed, but it's such a small sample size. So anyway, it's Keuchel in here. And then
gotta figure out who that one pitcher was that he had a very small amount of innings back in like 87, but he had like a 96 ERA. So they nicknamed him Cool FM.
That's awesome. Yep. That's fantastic.
I gotta figure that out.
All right, so looking at the Mets here, sorting them by OPS versus lefties. The one thing to note is that Piazza, when they have the C and the exclamation point, it means they've started too many games in a row, and it's starting to sap their stats. So Piazza is their best catcher, of course, but he's not ridiculous ahead of Todd Hundley. That's the question.
The game of the week. I think we got to ride it.
All right, fair enough. So top 4. We got Strawberry, Beltran, Greg Jeffries. Ooh, I know we were all waiting for
Rivers, man.
Waiting for that rookie card. You know what? God bless you, Greg Rivers. Yeah. And Edgardo Alfonso, who's been terrible against righties, but not bad against lefties. So we got 2 switch, a righty and a left. We can do whatever we want. How do you see it, Rono?
I think we got to lead off with Tim Tuffle. I mean,
Right? And Kevin Elster.
And Kevin Elster. I love it.
I love that the 86 Mets had Ray Knight at third with Howard Johnson backing him up and Kevin Mitchell backing him up. Like, okay. But I think Jeffries actually has the best on base by far, but Beltran's kind of your prototypical leadoff guy. So
you choose, man. You choose. I'm not really.
All right. We're going to leave Jeffries off.
Need to be involved with this.
We're going to leave Jeffries off just to piss off the Mets fans.
All right, there we go.
And he may end up DHing because, as you remember, Mets fans, he plays several positions badly. So, a modern-day King Kelly. Daryl's our cleanup hitter. We'll go Alfonso, who will probably actually play second. Beltran in center. Yeah, and then we can hit Piazza fifth. Now, that puts Jose Reyes well down in the lineup, who's your stolen base guy, but he's not nearly as good as the other guys against lefties. So if Reyes is your shortstop, then that's McReynolds in left, David Wright at third. Now you need a first baseman and a DH. So Jeffries is almost assuredly your DH. And Hernandez. It
would be kind of cool to get Nails in there, wouldn't it?
I can put Dykstra in. I love him.
Let's do it. Do it.
He's just.
No one's going to complain about.
He's rotten against lefties.
Yeah, but that chewing tobacco, man. Like, let's do it.
All right, fine.
I don't think anyone's going to begrudge us this.
Like Mets fans are going to write in and go, "How can you bench Greg Jeffries?" Right?
You're right. The nerve, sir. Okay. The nerve.
Well, geez, Beltran is a fantastic fielder, and he can play right. So that probably moves, let's see, Dykstra will play center. Beltran will play right. Daryl will DH. And our defense got better.
Got some good comments after you locked this.
Oh, let's see what we got here. Yeah, relievers that have a rough road to go, rough road to hoe. Yeah, John, I absolutely get you. There were only the way we're doing it for a couple of weeks at least. We're trying to look at matchups of two teams that haven't been on the broadcast yet. So I realize this is kind of black hat versus black hat, but you know what? I'd watch Iron Sheik versus Nikolai Volkov, right?
There you go. That's a perfect analogy.
It'd be good. Yeah, I watch that match. So. All right, so we'll flip on over here. If you found the Mets distasteful, let me introduce you to your Houston Astros. This is better, though, because they aren't all Astros. So, and there are Astro fans, actually one in our fantasy league, who were heartbroken by the title Astros, right? By the thumping team. And on some level, even though a lot of people were mad about it, myself included, they legit earned a title last year. So it doesn't excuse the previous
allegedly.
One, yeah, as far as we know.
Right.
So all right,
the truth will come out.
Cone versus righties. So wow, Bob Watson is their big killer here. That's kind of cool. So it'll be probably Altuve leading off, Watson cleaning up, Tucker in right, Berkman either at first or he can play right field. Yeah. So right field for Berkman or maybe a DH. Oh, I forgot Tucker plays left. Well, Tucker plays right. He also plays left. Bregman qualifies as a shortstop.
Let's do it. That's plausible.
So
he was a okay shortstop, right?
Yeah, feasibly, and he actually gets quite a bit of bats. Here's the big one: Biggio was a not bad catcher, but he also plays center field or a really good second base. So we got a lot of options here with Craig, a guy who does not get enough credit. I don't think. Yeah, ain't too many catchers who they go, hey, how about you play center field? Cool, that was nice. Now how about second? Right, and when they put him in center field is when they went in the new ballpark. With the hill in center field, with a giant flagpole in fair play.
That had to change the insurance policies for the players, like a significant amount, right?
They were trying to kill him, I think. And I think I'm going to guess most visiting center fielders just completely chickened out on a ball over their head to center.
Yeah.
Because if not, you would have seen guys eating it more often, right?
You just get the sense that it was just an intern, like at that architectural firm, was just kind of goofing around and then like sent the wrong file off for the presentation. And then they're like, okay, just go with it.
Yeah, exactly. It was a goof. You would think on a screamer over their head, a visiting center fielder on his horse would hit this. It was a pretty steep hill.
Yeah.
Would put his toe right into it and just face plant. And you didn't see it very often. So either it was a gentleman's agreement between the league and ESPN not to show that stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe it didn't happen that often. So, oh yeah, here we go. Chuck Carr.
Oh, okay.
Rest in peace, Chuck Carr. All right, so where was I? BGO can do anything. Bagwell, wow. Okay, Bagwell probably DHs. And then their best catcher against lefties is Evan Gaddis, or was it Gaddis? I forget. El Oso Blanco, the white bear who had a very short career.
But what a story, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And Biggio can play center, so Biggio, actually, we could catch Biggio, but it looks like this is going to play itself out. Because we'll have, who do I have left? Center field. Oh, I need a third baseman if Biggio is playing center field. Third base. Okay, it looks like Carlos Correa will bat ninth and play short, and Bregman will slide back to third. Okay. So there you go. It's time for baseball.
Raw.
Can you hear it, Roto?
No, I cannot.
Oh.
Do we need to
hold on? All right, hang on. I'm trying to bring this back to resurrect the audio. Let's see how it works. All right, tell me if you hear the ump. Ready?
Ready.
Og!
No.
I worked on this so hard before the show, and now it's breaking my heart. We'll give it one more shot here.
Sure.
Share screen.
Is there a little icon maybe on the tab?
I had this working, man, and it's going to break my heart if it doesn't work again. So I'm going to give control of Houston back to the computer and hope this makes some noise. Ready? David Cohn, don't let me down.
Oh, we got the sound. Yeah. Or at least at the bat.
I'm a wizard.
There's no crowd yet, but
it was a pop number a second. They got
Kyle. Yeah, all right, we got it. John was wondering where Jimmy Wynn is.
Jim Wynn is having an atrocious year for Houston. So it's part of the reason they're not as good as last year. So Wynn was, I think, an MVP finalist in season 1 and real good last year. But it's the thing where every player's numbers are adjusted 30%, anywhere between 30% up or 30% down every year. And that's a number we can't see and we can't alter. But when you watch a real star scuffle like that, they have the restrictor plate on, basically. So it feels kind of artificial, but it gives some variance from season to season. And you could chalk it up to Wynn jammed his shoulder in spring training, right? And it doesn't need surgery yet, but he's trying to play through it, and it's not going well.
Yeah.
So Jim Wynn,
with Mantle too much down in
that's
Florida,
it, right? That's it. They hurt their elbow, right? So, but yeah, that's it. That's a good call. Jim Wynn's a fantastic player and has been in the first 2 seasons, but this year, same one, J.R. Richard, who has been their best pitcher and I think a Cy Young finalist in at least 1 year, has been dreadful this year. So there's no no big shock why Houston's 28-61 when one of their best bats and likely their ace have both been so bad that they really don't even play anymore. So that's where we're at. And we're going to take advantage of that tonight as the New York Mets. So Kyle Tucker with your giraffe neck.
Right fielder, number 17, Lance Berkman.
I was like Berkman.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know anybody doesn't like Berkman. Just
they call
universal guys.
They call him Big Puma. Great nickname. He went to school. I don't know if he lived. I don't know if he's a Houston native, but I know he went to Rice and then went to Houston. So he's got that whole Junior Seau kind of thing going on, where he's just been great in that market forever. And I like he was this big hulking first baseman, but he was actually not bad in the outfield either. And
yeah, I mean, he had some big stolen base years, didn't he? Or not?
Yeah, and a few, right? He was a really good athlete. He was just big. So let's see if he hurts us here after all that praise. Yeah. I do like Baby Cone
First
there
baseman,
on the mound, right?
Bob Watson.
Maybe I'll see if I can pump these up a little bit here. Player displays. We'll see if this is too much.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Let's do it.
There's Bob Watson in that vintage Astros hat. He got a lot of that, but nope, not enough.
Pitching for Houston, number
start.
60, Dallas Keuchel. Leading off for New York, center fielder, Lenny Dykstra.
I'm going to let it go because if I try to fix it live, it may sound even worse.
I love it.
But I do want to point out that I came up with kind of the most a-hole photo of Carlos Correa I could possibly find, right?
Man, he had an up and down off season.
Really did, right?
Yikes.
I have a friend who was talking about a friend of hers and who I didn't know. And I said, I don't think I know her. And she said, oh, she's the doc for the Minnesota Twins. And I'm like, okay, random. Oh, and by the way, how's Carlos's leg?
Right.
Because most doctors don't like it.
What did he wind up signing? I forget the deal.
He went back to Minnesota for pretty much, I think maybe even a little less than he was making. Like
4 or 5. How many? What was the duration? Was it?
I think it's like 5 years, maybe with an opt out. Maybe with I don't remember. I remember it was a whole lot less than he thought he was getting in either other location. Right? That's it. What is that? Oh, that's the sound of bone on bone. Sorry.
Man, I just remember. I mean, we were talking about that Giants deal when it first popped up. It's like that seems like a tremendously large amount of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
But again, like you're saying, I shouldn't worry about that because it's not my money.
Yeah. Well, and then the Mets were like, we can pay more.
Right.
But when that tells you something, when even the Mets were like, I don't know, this is a good investment, right?
Oh,
Meanwhile, they're
good
contemplating like 8 years and $140 million for Zach Britton. But Correa makes him nervous. Okay. That's fine.
Was that I mean, are they offering Britton a long-term deal?
No,
I didn't see that.
no.
Oh, okay.
Funny because right now they've been linked to Britton because Showalter knows them from their Baltimore days.
Gotcha.
But they haven't pulled the trigger yet. And it's making everybody else nervous. Why haven't they? Right? It must be like a vampire or a werewolf. Then they found that out in the doctor's exam. Here's Lenny Dykstra, who I loved as a Met before we found out he was a bit of a maniac.
Second baseman, Edgardo
a little bit outspoken.
Yeah, just a little problem there. Alfonso,
right fielder,
another underrated player.
Beltran.
Yeah.
And here's Beltran.
Oh, there we go.
Screamer down the line.
Send him.
Go, Alphonse.
Send him.
Safe chance, 66%. 1 out.
I think you send it. What do you think? You're feeling aggressive in the first?
Yeah, we already got a guy in second.
All
right, here we go. It's not our money. Send Beltran to third. Safe chance, 76%.
Probably not.
He's already in scoring position. He's fast.
Yeah.
All right. So we're risky yet.
My high school coach would have given me a mental error, even if I had. taking that base. That's laughs after the game. I don't want any part of.
Right. That's basically me running the book for the basketball stats. Right. How did Rivers have 6 assists in 8 minutes? I don't remember that. I do. I do. And whenever the best, when the guy, we won't even name him, but the guy who would get to play center instead of our friend Greg, who was a hopeless cause. Whenever the ball would go out of bounds anywhere near him, Greg, our good friend, would look down the bench at me, the guy keeping the stats, and be like, fumble, turnover. So at the end of the game, Greg had like 3 boards and 4 assists he didn't deserve. And the other guy, because I wasn't subtle, would have like 14 turnovers.
It's like, Mark, our team only was allotted 12 turnovers for the game, but
yeah. How do you have 14? Yeah.
I know.
All right. So
Lord works in
Beltron's
mysterious ways.
Beltron's staying put. I was let's see, there we go. I was anecdote.
Designated hitter.
Continuing.
Carol, Strawberry.
I was back home in Bend, Oregon for my break last week. And I got to go to our alma mater's, I guess it was senior night for their boys basketball team. And the Bend High Lava Bears basketball team comes out to their pep band playing Iron Man from Black Sabbath with spotlights on them and everything. And I'm like, that's pretty big time entrance.
Still got it.
Still got it. Lava Bears. All right. Daryl helps out. Not much, Daryl.
Catcher, Mike, Piazza.
All right, so we're playing a tired Piazza because it's the game of the week. So that PERT plus better come through right about now.
Third baseman,
Whatever,
number
why'd you
2,
talk?
Alex
Should have
Bregman.
played Hundley.
Center
Bregman
fielder,
walks.
Craig Biggio.
And here's Biggio with the bunt. I guess it did what they
Designated hitter.
And he got up that
Yep.
line, though.
Bagwell.
Yeah, dude, that Biggio can run. Bagwell gives it a ride. But Dykstra's on it. Bregman tags. He's safe.
Catcher.
Again.
You imagine the
Number 11,
beard that
Kevin
Bagwell might have
Pettis.
had in the current day. I mean, he would have put Blackman to shame.
Yeah.
Or even Keuchel, for that matter.
The thing I remember about Bagwell is because no DH, obviously back then when they were a National League club, his shoulder was wrecked for like the last 3 seasons. He almost physically could not throw the ball. So if it was a relay coming in or anything, he was never involved. And sometimes guys knew, and they just knew he couldn't start a double play because he just could not. His shoulder could not throw with any mustard on it, but he could still hit and was beloved. So he still, got in last couple seasons in the National League with almost no shoulder. So
I wonder how that worked with the pickoff stuff, right? I mean,
that's a good question.
The lefties going on first motion. Like,
I always wondered stuff like that. Like John Lester famously couldn't throw to first.
mm-hmm.
And so, but I don't remember guys like going nuts on John Lester. I don't remember teams stealing like 9 bases on Lester.
No, I mean, he'd step off, but he kind of would lob it, right? I mean, he wouldn't do a sharp pickoff throw. It's just sort of I'll make sure you go back, but
yeah. You would think if there was a tangible weakness in somebody's game, it's baseball, right? Like they're pros, they're getting paid. I remember guys bunting on Abbott when he first came up with the Angels. Like, hey, I'm sorry that you have literally a physical weakness, but if you can't throw guys out or field a bunt, we're gonna have a conga line all day.
Yeah.
One
but
at
he
a
did,
time.
man, right?
But he could, yeah. But they tested him. Like his first couple starts, guys were dropping down bunts until they realized he can field just as good as anybody else.
That was amazing dexterity. When you see that
ridiculous,
transfer.
Right? Yeah.
Goodness.
But good for him. All right, here's Evan Gattis. Better remembered as a Brave, I think, but he's one of those guys who had that comet
Shortstop,
career, right? Like
Jose
only a couple
Reyes.
years, and then
he was like a lefty in Colorado for a couple years, like a year or something like that.
And I remember I don't think he used batting gloves. So he just looked like he walked in, like out of the wilderness.
Well, he had those Popeye forearms too,
Yeah.
right? Just like, man.
He was, and I think he had played maybe in the Mexican leagues, and that's where he got his nickname El Oso Blanco, the White Bear, which is pretty awesome, right?
So rad.
I want to be El Oso Blanco. Maybe I'll be El Oso Blanco too, or El Hijo de Oso Blanco.
There you go.
All right, Jose Reyes, fantastic bunter, nobody out.
Let's do it.
All right. Gaddis isn't winning any Gold Gloves either, but
Watson,
left fielder, Kevin McReynolds.
Now, my favorite McReynolds thing, he stole. I remember he had a Topps card for it too. He had a season where he was like 23 of 23 for steals, so he could actually get up. And he was an opportunistic base stealer, right? Like when it was the right pitcher or the right moment, he would go. But he wasn't a burner. But I remember I think it was the New York Post, when the Mets were starting to struggle in the early 90s, ran a headline that just said, "Is McReynolds fat?" ?
That's just brutal.
It's so New York Post, right? Like, hey, we're gonna lead with the whole "Is McReynolds fat?" story on Tuesday.
Can you imagine green lighting that?
All right, Kevin.
This will put us on par with the times.
David, right.
Can you imagine being the beat writer for the Post, coming around the day after that or the day of? Is McReynolds fat?
And this is pre, like, you can't like text him and be like, "Bro, I'm really sorry, bro."
Yeah, like, the editor says we have to.
First baseman.
I remember when
number 17, Keith Hernandez.
When the Red Sox paid a ton of money to Kung Fu Panda, right? Coming over from San Fran. What's his name? I'm blanking on his name.
Sandoval?
Yeah, Peter Sandoval. And he showed up and he was bad his first year. And then the next spring training, the bit was, well, he really wasn't in shape last year. They said, but they say he's showing up in the best shape.
I love that. That's one of my
every
favorite
spring,
cliches.
right? And he showed up and he was so much fatter. He'd been hibernating, I think, right? And I still have the photo somewhere that they snapped at spring training, and it was a total hatchet setup job. He was wearing like a loose pullover shirt, not tucked in, obviously. And they waited for him to throw, so the shirt came up, and then they shot from like ground level up. It was like they couldn't have tried harder to make him look as fat as possible. And they didn't run the they didn't run the "Is Sandoval fat" headline, because I think we all knew. Like, yeah.
It's like, man, you've just got to keep it under control for like 5 years, right, of your career arc, and then just let yourself go, man. Like, just
absolutely, no one cares after that, right?
Just
all right. So David writes it first, 2 down for Keith Hernandez. Look at that, getting it done. David Wright, kind of station to station. Bring it up, Lenny Dykstra with a line shot to center. Wright scores without a throw, and it's 2-0 Mets. Here's Edgardo Alfonso. Hernandez the third, safe chance 57%. I'm not feeling that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
He's already in scoring position, top of the lineup. Stay put.
Right, Rob disagrees.
Oh yeah. Hey, boo boo.
Pablo Sandoval.
Edgardo Alfonso with a shot, but looks like Tucker's all over that. There, it's
shortstop. Number 1, Carlos Correa.
Fair enough. Dykstra looks like he's all over that. Yep. Here's Altuve. My brother was in Jersey in what would have been early 90s. And Cone was going to sign cards nearby. And he was my favorite pitcher. And so I sent him a Cone rookie, all Kansas City Royals and everything. And he went to meet him, and he said he was nice. That's great, because we had met. I only got one. There's only one signing while I was in town. It was Roberto Kelly, who the Eggs had high hopes for at the time. And he had an entourage of like 5 guys to make sure nobody attacked him, I guess. And he just sat there with a hat low, glasses on, and just signed and passed the card. Like, wouldn't acknowledge
Just say
anybody.
Hello. Just say hello,
just
right?
Wave, yeah, just smile. But no, he was just signing and moving on. And so I was worried. I was hoping Cone wouldn't be a jerk. And Mike said he was nice, but he also said he was so short. Because Mike's 6'4", my older brother. And Cone is listed, I think, as 6 foot or maybe 5'11" on his cards. And he's 5'7", maybe.
Yeah.
Like, there's almost nothing to him. Yeah. Which makes him a little more impressive, right? That he could bring that kind of torque around. But yeah, Coney, not very tall. Altuve's 89% to steal. So we're gonna try to restrict that with a couple of pickoffs. All right, better 53. Here's Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, Rob makes a good point.
Yeah, it's true. One of those challenge trades, and that's exactly why GMs don't do them very often. Because if you trade for a bunch of prospects and they don't turn out, it's like, they're prospects. You know, that's what they do more often than not. They're not as good as you'd hoped. But if you do a straight up starting outfielder for another starting outfielder, somebody's winning that trade.
Yeah,
definitely. Here's Lance Berkman, who we spoke so highly of. Doubling off the wall, I believe, as Tucker scores, and it's 2-1 Mets. So, lots of walks. Cone actually didn't start the year in the Mets rotation, but cover your ears, Mets fans. We pulled Tom Seaver from the Mets rotation because he was 2-12 with like a 5.4 ERA, and I couldn't bear the thought of Tom Seaver losing 20 games for the Mets because we'd never get those fans back ever. So
there you go.
Cone has been pretty good. Bregman with a dribbler. And Cone bobbles it.
Yeah, just tell him he slept on his neck wrong.
Do you remember when Cone against the Braves, he missed or he rushed to the bag. It was like a screamer to first. And he rushed to the bag. They threw to him and they said he missed the bag. And he argued with the ump so long that 2 more runs scored.
Vaguely remember.
By the time he turned around, there was only a runner on first instead of the bases loaded, and 3 runs had scored. I never saw a guy that mad. Well, George Brett. Aside from the George Brett division, and Cone grew up in Kansas City.
There you go.
So there you go. We come full circle. All right. So here's Craig Biggio. Bases loaded. Strike it out. Bringing up Carlos Beltran, who flies out to the neck. Here's Darryl. Looks like a pop. Sounded good, looks terrible.
I appreciate the fact that the camera angles on Brett's blow up were so good. It was really well documented for that era, I think.
Yeah, hard to find still photos though. I want a good still of him just erupting, right? And I don't believe he was suspended at all, but he bumps the hell out of a couple umpires.
Different
right?
Different era, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, this
was the Hal McRae slide era, right?
Yeah, was it? Yeah, McRae slid into Nettles, and they just started fighting, and the ump basically separated them hockey style, and was like, "Back to your corners, boys," and they're like, "But I'm on third base." All right, well, no more of that. Neither one of them got thrown out. I think Piniella and Royals catcher in that same era, at least, if not series, slid hard into home and they just started fighting.
I just love the fact that one Hal McRae slide on Willie Randolph, just everyone's like, "Yeah, that was good."
Yeah. Just booted him back where he came from, basically, or over in the shortstop.
No, that was the barrel roll, right? Like just.
Oh yeah.
Too good.
And I think they have Mike's son, Billy Martin, when he comes out, and he's like, "What the? He just killed my second baseman." All right, here's Mike Piazza. Scorcher for a single. All right, we'll take it.
Send him.
Right, 2 down. Jose Reyes up.
So Channel 11 was the big Yankees.
Yeah, WPIX, I think.
Oh, okay, nice.
Like I'm a native or something. Look up Jamestown, New York. You can't get further from New York City than Jamestown.
Nobody needs to know that, man.
No, I'm from New York.
Just say you're from Hoboken or something.
I'm from New York. More cows and a big lake, but it's fine. All right. So Jeff Bagwell steps in with a soft little looper. Kevin McReynolds puts down the Twinkie and fields it cleanly. Evan Gattis steps in to Hernandez for the easy play at first.
Oh, Sandoval's in the best shape of his life.
Everybody is, right? Here's Correa striking out. And Altuve. That
must just be a joke with the agents, right? Where it's just like inside humor.
Right. I was, as a Yankee fan, living in New England, I loved that Red Sox team because I think that was the Bobby Valentine era, or that was right after it, I guess. But it was when they spent big money on Carl Crawford, Adrian Gonzalez, and Pedro Sandoval, and they all just collapsed in Boston.
I gotta say, I thought that was a steal when first. I thought he was going to be a monster when they first got a hold of him.
Yeah, and that was before Tampa was actually good. They were just annoying, right? Because Crawford was always making them dangerous when you felt they shouldn't be. You were like, it was Cole Crawford, Rocco Baldelli, and Randy Wynn across the outfield. And you're like, this team ain't good. But, yeah. All right, here's
Rob saw it live. Wow.
Oh, that's outstanding.
That's very cool.
WPIX. I loved when they replayed the end of the game because it was played under protest. That Billy Martin was so mad he put Mattingly at second base. And he didn't even have a second baseman's glove. I think he had to borrow Willie's glove. They were like, Matt, I mean, this is 84, I think, right? So they're like, Mattingly, get out to second. Okay.
He's just got his glove on backwards on his
right. Wearing it on his head. Like, I don't think you see too many left-handed second basemen, right? That's
man. We had, what was it? Ben High 1 year. What was that guy? He was we were eighth graders. They had a left-handed shortstop.
That's weird.
It is weird that but he was supposed to be pretty good. I mean, Guidry in center field.
Right. That's right. I'll have to look up that box score.
That's awesome.
Tremendous. It's tremendous. All right, here's David Wright. Not doing much. Must have been late career, David. Oh, that was me. Keith Hernandez steps in. I don't know. Looks pretty good.
Wow.
Keith Hernandez with sneaky power.
Dang.
Crushes one to right field. Wonder if he'll tell us. Well, only 3. See, their measurements are all nuts. You look over here, right center is 391, and then it says that measured 361 feet. Okay, well, maybe Bergman should go get it then, right? Like, it is only 330 down the line, so okay.
It's meters.
Ooh, that could be it. Here's Lenny Dykstra. Again, a good bunter, but
yeah, should we get
2 outs? 2 outs?
Let's fun and get him on. Let's do it, and then we'll steal second.
All right.
Guaranteed double.
Oh, I bunts it foul. Now with 2 strikes, he's got to hit. Yeah. Lenny. Cone with 79 pitches thrown through. We'll find out. I believe
the minute they say he's strong, that's when we pull him.
Right.
That's our tip off.
80 pitches in the 5th inning. So we are going to be into this bullpen, which is the most terrifying thing I've said all show. Gotta believe there's more guys than that. But notably, Jesse Orozco, John Franco, and Randy Myers.
Nice.
Pretty good. And then starters who don't pitch very often include Craig Swan, Ron Darling, Jerry Kuzman, and Sid Fernandez. So a lot of arms, but only 3 pure relievers.
Huh.
Breaks my heart not to see Armando Benitez active for this game. Here's Lance Berkman.
We got to get a Roscoe in there at some point.
So he can throw his glove up. Bob Watson. With a liner to Beltran. Doing pretty good here, Coney.
We're cooking.
Here comes Edgardo Alfonso.
Ooh, you get no.
No. Oh, here we go. Right.
I'm actually surprised he didn't dip his toes into WWE, right?
He was big enough, right?
Yeah,
at the time.
Seriously.
Yeah, he could spit the green mist like the great Muda. Would have been awesome. Here's Carlos Beltran, who Mets fans are still mad at for not swinging the bat in that NLCS, I think. All right. Beltran is 55% to steal. With Daryl up, I think you got to leave him be.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, he's checking on him. Now he's 77%.
Boom.
Straight steal or hit
Great
and run?
steal.
All right, here you go. Beep, beep. He's in there. Now he's 24% to steal third.
Now we'll just wait for the strawberry double.
I like that weird headset. Keep waiting. 2 down for Mike Piazza. They walk him.
Picture Piazza just makes it look like he's winded.
Okay. They walk Piazza to get to Reyes. We'll see if that hurts him. They're talking about it. Reyes hits a dribbler and the crowd boos him. I like that they have the home crowd booing the home team. It's pretty New York. So Cone has 30 pitches left in him, so he should get through this inning. Maybe not the next. Here's Brent.
Kiss of death.
Yeah, that bullpen. Maybe if we put a starter in, it will confuse. Oh, the play is under review, but the ruling stands. All right, that was a quick review. Maybe if we put a starter in out of the pen, it'll work. I think we're getting away from that terrible decision we're about to make.
I'm hearing some strange noises in my home. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Jeff Bagwell with a dribbler. He's out at first. Bringing up Kevin McReynolds.
Nothing too crazy. I gave it 10 seconds. And
yeah. All right.
Appeared like it was burning down.
Oh, McReynolds with a shot to left. Tucker is on it.
Off the wall.
Makes the catch at the wall. David Wright. That has a prayer there. It's off the wall. Wright's in standing up with a double. And previous home run hero Keith Hernandez steps in with 1 down.
Oh, man. Count it. Come on, Blue.
Berkman must have been blowing. Keith Hernandez with a dribbler to Carlos Correa. Looks like he has to eat it. We got 2 runners on for Lenny Dykstra. Dallas Keuchel is exhausted, and they're not pulling him. So this is one of those moments where we're going to help the computer out a little bit. So we're going to take control of Houston for a second.
And put in Bradley.
And bring in Brent. No. Now, is that too transparent? Is that too obvious? So it won't be Billy Wagner, but we'll get all-star Will Harris and Joe Sambito up. So lefty and righty.
Man, Joe Necro is just screaming for attention right now.
Right?
Let's get him in.
Got that. He's all warmed up. He's got the Emery board hidden well.
That was one of the best moments in baseball. What?
and this ump, he was doing this. It's like, huh?
That's so good.
Okay, so Houston gets computer control back. And pretty much whatever Dykstra does here, they're probably we're going to make him go to the pen next because they should have. Oh, unless he gets a double play. To second. Oh, Lenny Dykstra.
Come on, Nails.
All right. So Cone has 21 pitches left in him. Might get through this inning.
I just it's like just a passive aggressive girlfriend. These comments, like it's like, I'm fine. Yeah, why would?
All right, so we're gonna get to the top of the order here, which is switch left, righty. But it probably means we should have somebody ready for Cone just in case.
Jesse Orozco.
You want Orozco?
I do.
All right.
And
he's good against lefties and righties, so he might
John
just be
Franco.
the answer. And Franco too?
I think so. Don't you think?
They're both left-handed. I don't know why you need both of them.
Yeah. I don't know. He's Italian.
No, I think we're going to need all three. I just think we need them for 7, 8, 9.
All right.
Orozco can be first. Okay. Here's Evan Gattis. Get over there, Coney. No problem. Great play. Carlos Correa hitting 9th. Walking.
Had to rub it in.
Man. All right. So, yeah, Altuve is notably better. Well, he's good both ways, but he's better against lefties. So this is probably Cone's last hitter. And then either way, Orozco's coming in to face Lefty Tucker.
Kuzman Orozco.
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Good to know. So here you go, Cone. Go out with a bang.
Is that a mound visit?
Yeah, it must be. Single to center. Correa takes third. And with that, Jesse Orozco, come on down.
Pitching for New York.
Look at that. I got a good picture,
Jesse
Orozco.
That glove is up there somewhere. All right, so lefty Orozco in to face Kyle Tucker, who is weaker against lefties because he's lefty. Let's see if it works. It did not.
Into the
double off the wall.
Oh, man.
2-run score, and we're tied up 3-3. So,
and the Pumas up.
If we've learned nothing,
leave your starter in. There's a reason that the computer leaves their starter,
right? And we get relievers up for him, and they go, "Nah, we're good."
Right?
They almost never put in the guys we get up. So Berkman's 1 for 2. Are we walking Berkman to get to Watson? I don't think that makes sense.
Nah, let's get hurt by the Puma.
All right. Oh, we sit him down. Now, we could walk Watson to get to Bregman, but
let's just go at him.
Just do it. All right. No, Watson. 2-run shot.
That was a terrible decision you let me make.
I think I was part of that too. So here's Bregman.
Roscoe with a double negative tonight.
Probably got to get somebody up here. You want Franco or Myers?
Franco.
Or one of the starters?
Franco.
All right, Franco. Last one, Orozco. You bonehead. And we get out of it. But Houston puts up a 4 spot.
Ooh, Harris is in. All right.
Hey, that's the first time
Houston,
I think they ever put in a reliever
Will
we got
Harris.
up for them. All-star Will Harris. That also shows you what kind of a season Houston's having. That their lone all-star was reliever Will Harris. So big finish. All right. So,
Pete Rose's numbers runners.
Who? Franco? All right. So, top of the order. We need a rally. That's all we needed, but okay. Carlos Beltran. Run, Beltran, run. Nope.
This is petering out here.
Yeah, it's gotten rough. But here's Darryl Strawberry.
Strike 3.
Okay.
We should have gotten Tim Tuffle in the game.
Orozco seems fine. He really doesn't. So in comes John Franco.
Pitching
Oh,
for New
look
York,
at that.
number 31, John
Love
Franco.
If we can just get him to eat a mushroom and then grab the fire flower,
There you go.
he's going to kick ass tonight. I just know it.
That movie looks pretty good, man. I think I'm going to take the kids to that one.
You know what? Yeah, we saw the trailer this weekend, and all right, I'm down with it. As long as there isn't too much Toad. Nobody likes Toad.
Right.
Ugh. Here's Craig Biggio. Oh, lineman went right past Hernandez, hustling it into a double. Man. Jeff Bagwell strikes out, gives us some hope. Evan Gattis with a 5-hopper to short that he doesn't leg out. Carlos Correa. It's in the air, but there's 2 down. Dykstra's on it, and look at Zambito's hair, man.
Pitching for Houston,
Wow.
number
He's
35,
gorgeous.
Joe.
They're like, pull your hair down, Sam. Pull your hat down, Zambito. And he's like, I did.
Ladies.
Hello, ladies. All right, so here we go. Mike P. Oh, wait a minute. So Zambito's a lefty, and we are in the bottom of the 8th. So we probably better at least consider.
Oh, we can't.
Greg Jeffries.
For Piazza?
Not for Piazza, but it's Piazza, Reyes, McReynolds. If we pinch hit for Jose Reyes, they don't even really have a backup shortstop right now. It should be Hojo.
Get Dave Maggot in there.
Not at short though.
Not at short, but let's get him in.
I'm just saying I don't think anybody else qualifies at short. Because normally it's Howard Johnson, but look at his numbers. 069 against lefties, but 186 against righties. So, but that's why he's normally up, because they need another shortstop, and they don't have one. So, I guess we'll sink on that bridge when we come to it. But for now, Mike Piazza, help us out. Not quite. And Kyle Tucker's all over it. So do we pinch hit for Reyes, even though they don't have another shortstop, and pray in the 9th?
All right. How's his bunting?
He's a great bunter.
Let's do it. Let's get a base runner.
All right. They're back for some reason. Run, dude. Look at that.
Oh.
You're all over it, Roto. He's in there.
Where we at?
74 to steal. We can take a pitch, too, and see if that gets better.
Sure.
All right. So McReynolds gets the take. Reyes 84.
Good.
And off he goes. He's in.
Yeah, Robin. Yeah, Kevin Elster, man.
And now he's 25% steal third. Probably good.
Where's Kevin Elster?
Yeah, right. We need him. All right, so let's see here. McReynolds against lefties, not so good. So this is where we could deploy old Greg Jeffries, who's a lefty murderer.
Sure. Let's do it.
Because do that or right's a little bit better. All right, it's Jeffries right here. Getting it done. Mets fans, send your hate mail to El Oso Rojo at run. Well, that's good, solid, fundamental baseball, right? Right?
I don't.
Advance the runner.
Yeah, I guess we gotta leave Wright in.
Here's David Wright.
Love me some Dave Maggot in there.
Oh, I don't like Maggot too, but Wright wasn't helping us. All right, so we got a left field problem that we created.
Franco's okay.
Yeah, just okay. Looks like that's Tommy A.G. coming in. Old school Mets fans will like that. Play a little left field. And double bonus, I just got Jeffries out of the game. So Franco's okay, but he's only got 15 pitches in that left arm. So do we warm the closer? I guess that's Randy Myers, or do you want one of these starters?
Just do Myers. What the heck?
All right. Randy Myers. Well, for one of the bad boys. Or nasty boys, sorry. Oof. Altuve's not fooling around. It's like he knew what was coming. He's going for 3.
Ooh.
He's in there. Franco's got 9 pitches left in him.
One more batter. Should have
right.
gone with Mazzilli.
Kyle Tucker. Ooh, that's a good idea. Tucker got a lot of that.
And that's still
like
going.
a whole lot of that.
Oh, Lordy.
So
our favorite lefties have let us down today.
The relief pitching has been suspect.
The classic Met lefties have let us down.
Pitching for New
Randy
York.
Myers'
Randy
mustache is pretty
Myers.
terrifying. But okay. That's more like it. Bob Watson.
That's a mustache of a man who works on his Camaro in his driveway.
And it's up on block.
There you go.
Alex Bregman steps in. The tapper to Jose Reyes.
Out of our misery.
Reyes is leading the league in total necklaces, though, so that's good. Here's Biggio. 2 down, runner on second. He sits him down. Joel Zambito is tired, but they're not taking him out, so this could be our window.
This is it.
Left-handed, I don't think we have any moves left to make other than Todd Hundley.
Dave Magadan.
Hundley's not bad against lefties, but whoever we put him in for, that's where he's. Oh, we have Magadan, who has not hit against lefties this year. But
should we get him in? Let's get him in.
He's a third baseman, so
let's do it.
A third or a first. You can't, but Hernandez rocks lefties, so it can't be for Hernandez.
Okay, maybe Dykstra.
It could be for. Yeah, it could be for Dykstra.
Let's do it for Dykstra.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to play him anyway, remember?
No, what were you thinking?
Man, I'm telling you. Plus, Piazza's like, my back's killing me. Yeah, can't bench Keith Hernandez. So, and if you wonder why Pete Alonso isn't an option right now, it's because he started the year hitting 111 against lefties and 095 against righties. So,
man.
Yeah, it's been a tough year. So, all right, Keith gets through. 3 hits today. That's all. And here we go. Lenny Dykstra, not going to bat. Todd Hundley. Oh, wait. Dave Magadan.
There we go. Love it.
Pinch hitting for New York. Dave Magadan.
Magadan steps in.
It sounds like a Trump Magadan.
Sounds like a Dungeons and Dragons creature.
Yeah,
Magadan approaches from the dark
where's
hallway.
Mookie, man? Where's Mookie?
Yeah, there's only so many outfielders you can carry. I'm sorry. Edgardo Alfonso. I guess he's actually got a hit. All right, fine. And that's the game.
The final score from Citi Field, Houston 7.
We ran a little long. We
Dallas
normally go
Keuchel
about
is the
an
winner.
hour.
He is now 1-0. Jesse Orozco is the loser. He is now 1-4 on the season. Joe Sambito gets the save. Number 7. Kyle Tucker hit home run number 13 on the season. Bob Watson hit number 1. Keith Hernandez hit number 4. Time of the game, 3 hours, 23 minutes.
Orozco had 2 pluses. He had his best stuff. What?
And Bob Watson, who broke our back, hit his first homer of the year.
I love it.
Because first base is hard to get playing time with Berkman and Bagwell out there, right? But he managed to rise up and bite us. And Orozco, who has 2 pluses, which means should have his very best stuff. Well, we sure didn't see it. Player of the game is Kyle Tucker, which is weird. I don't remember him murdering us. But
he had a big homer.
Did he hit one that I forgot? Yeah, 2 for 5, 3 runs, 4 RBI. That'll do it. So there you go. The Houston Astros with a big win on prime time. They were just waiting for that spotlight. The Mets, disappointing as usual this season, at least. But fear not, Mets fans. You got the best team money can buy in Major League Baseball. So, and if you had to take one or the other, I get it. So
it's a push.
Yeah, got 50-50. So, but again, appreciate you joining us for the Eternal Baseball Podcast. We're here every Sunday night at 9 Eastern or 6 Pacific or 7 in Mountain Time. But anyway, we'll be back next week with another fantastic edition, the Weekend Review. Meanwhile, you can always catch the box scores on our team-specific message boards loaded every day at eternalbaseball.com. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find old games going back all the way to season 1.
And, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe over there on YouTube. Every bit of it helps. Sign up for our newsletter at eternalbaseball.com. There's lots of ways you can interact with Eternal Baseball, and we'd love to see you back here again. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. That was fun.
And we will see you next week for another thrilling edition of the Eternal Baseball Podcast.